Well, today is January 1st, 2026. So you probably know what that means. It's time to discuss our goals. I feel so far away from this camera. Let me move it a little bit closer. Got my dog chewing on a bone, so if you hear some background clatter, that is why. But it's 2026. It's an exciting year for Pokemon, obviously, with it being the 30th anniversary year. Pokemon Day is sometime in February or March, pretty early on in Q1. So a lot of eyes on the celebration set. There's going to be a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation. Apparently the name of the celebration is called, like directly translated from Japanese, is Celebrations Collection, which is probably not going to be the English version. But I hope they do something that they haven't done before. That's all I want. The reprints on popular cards are cool and exciting and fun, but I don't know. As a collector myself, I don't really like those as much. I feel like it would be cool if we had like a trainer gallery of full arts from like Wizard of the Coast era. So I've seen some cool mock-ups of like the Jigglypuff. I think full art like starter trio would be pretty cool. So like the Squirtle, the Bulbasaur, and the Charmander, that would be pretty sick. But I think we need like maybe even like modern full art reprints of the starters, if that makes sense. So like, I don't think we've had a full art Charizard that looks like the base set Charizard, so that would be kind of cool. If we could get like full art hollow versions of those cards, I think that would be pretty sick. Obviously they're always gonna like look back at nostalgia, but I wonder how far back they're gonna go, because I know with Magic the Gathering, the old stuff is kind of flatlined, which is kind of interesting, and has some people in the hobby speculating that it could potentially happen to Pokemon. I don't think that that's the case. I understand and see the arguments of why they think that, but I just don't think Pokemon and Magic are like the same in that aspect, because like nobody in Magic collects, well, maybe they do, but there isn't like characters in Magic, at least from my understanding, there isn't like characters in Magic that you like collect from the earlier sets. Now there might be like artists that you collect or sets that you collect and stuff like that, and that's obviously pretty one-to-one comparison. But in terms of like Pokemon, like, you know, there's people that collect every specific Pokemon, and I just don't think there's like a comparison like that, especially the draw that 151 has. Like, every Pokemon in the original 151 has a collector. I don't know who it is, but there's at least one person that has a binder full of every card that has ever been printed of that Pokemon. So, I don't know. I'm excited to see what Celebration brings. I'm really excited about Riftbound. As you can tell in my previous videos, Riftbound is really fun, and the bulk is actually selling pretty well. So I'm definitely interested in getting more involved in Riftbound over the year. I didn't really mention it, but this is kind of like what I want 2026 to like turn out to be for me. Probably a lot more like face cam vlog videos, unedited, just a lot, just me spitting my opinions into the ether that is the YouTube. Shout out White Monster. Let me know if you're in the White Monster gang. If not, that's cool. But yeah, definitely gonna go more into Riftbound as that's released. I'm taking it slow. I do like opening, but I think I'm gonna start purchasing Riftbound bulk I want to get like 10 cents per card. It seems kind of high, but here's some knocking from next door. I knew this True Toy would be so good for him. I'm so happy about that. I have not had peace like this with my dog just laying there doing something that is productive for him in a long time. Anyway, Riftbound's big. I want to start buying Riftbound bulk and flipping it. 10 cents a card, like that sounds like a lot because it is kind of higher than what you would expect in traditional bulk. And I do expect that value to go down over the year. But I think at 10 cents, like most of the bulk cards that you're like picking through are like 75 cents. Runes go for like 75 cents, which is crazy because they're like energy cards. They're not as common, but as more of that stuff gets released, obviously it's going to be less in value. So we'll have to see what happens with Spirit Forge to really tell on like the parameters on what I'll be buying bulk at. There's a few eBay lots I've seen that are currently on like bids or best offers. So we'll just have to see how that goes. I'm trying to keep my prices up to date on TCG Player. If you want to buy from me directly, it's Jimmy Jam Products. Pretty simple. You can search me in the store. I have a lot of reverse holos and holos from Sword and Shield era if you're interested. And then I do have quite a bit of Riftbound bulk that I'm also trying to get rid of at market price or below. I wish I could introduce the free shipping option because I do feel like that helps people buy more and yeah, it just helps with visibility as well. So we'll see how that goes. I like offering shipping on TCG Player. On eBay, I kind of avoid shipping at all costs. Like I don't put shipping in my listings, just because like I just factor it into the cost of the item. So, which everyone should be doing. I don't know why people will do the shipping thing. I don't know. But that's another thing that I want to look into as well, is expanding eBay after I pay my debt that I owe them, which will be another video. But eBay is going to be a big multiplier on my business growth and expansion. So I definitely know that getting into eBay is going to be important, especially with the higher end stuff, because anything over like $25, like I'm not really interested in shipping on TCG Player because I have to do tracked anyway, so I might as well just put it on eBay, get more eyes. And that's primarily what I'm going to be doing with slabs. Like all of my slabs are obviously have to go to eBay. I know some people do try to sell slabs on TCG Player, but like lowest listing always goes first, so it's kind of weird to do that. So I set out that submission to GameStop yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. Probably hasn't even arrived at PSA yet. I'm not really pressured for time. We will be able to get those cards probably at the end of Q1 is what I'm expecting. Hopefully sooner. Obviously, sooner is better. But once I get those cards back, they will be on eBay. I'm probably going to trade in anything that doesn't hit a 10. for store credit. That way I can submit more cards to GameStop through their store credit program, which is really beneficial for people like me who are just starting out, but also people who are just like normies that aren't really interested in like necessarily reselling the cards. It's more like, these are my collection items. I just want to send them off and see what I can get. I know at some point in time I'll have a PSA 10 Level X and a PSA 10 Rainbow Rare collection, which I'm going to be working towards this year. That's kind of my end goal, is to get both of those collections down. PSA 10 Level X is going to be nearly impossible, because I just don't have the capital, but that's kind of what this is all about, is trying to get there. And then just buying and selling at card shows, that's going to be a big factor for multiplying my income. Just submitting the cards that I buy from card shows, because you know you get to see them like with your own eyes, and that's going to be big for me. I think that's kind of the angle that I'm trying to do with the card shows: buy stuff that I feel like is worth grading those items, getting them back, returning all the PSA 9s or 9s and below to GameStop to do with whatever they want, and then submitting more cards with the value I get from those, and then selling the 10s on my eBay store. And I'll probably be doing that for the remainder of 2026. The first quarter of Q1 is going to be a little cash starved, which is to be expected. I just started this at the beginning of December. January is looking like I'm going to be getting like probably $150 back, as long as the sales keep coming through. And I've been using all the money that I've been getting to reinvest in supplies. I did buy a case of beer for New Year's, but probably going to stop doing that now that we've actually entered January, because now I expect that I'm going to have to file taxes and work out all of that fun stuff. Before the end of Q1, I would like to have like an LLC established and stuff like that. Maybe potentially get gonna try to stay away from a loan, but it might happen for the business, just so I can get some additional capital and then pay that off like with one PSA submission. That's kind of where I'm at on that. So my 3 pillars are continuing to try to find flips on Pokemon, buying collections. I feel like with Pokemon specifically, it's kind of hard. Like Facebook Marketplace is filled with people that are trying to get rid of cards, but it's also filled with a lot of slop. And I just don't have like the capital yet. I'm almost there, but not quite, to buy and sell Pokemon stuff. Riftbound bulk is going to be huge. It's kind of hard to do Facebook Marketplace for that, so I'm probably going to stick to eBay with Riftbound stuff, and then PSA submissions to multiply the gains that I get. There's a few cards that are definitely worth sending in that I still have, but those are holds. I'm waiting to get my submission back to then submit all of those items. I could have submitted one more card, but my girlfriend, Miss Jam, is having some tooth problems, so I gave her the $26. That way this month she can buy a $30 game for free, essentially. Traded it in my Xbox for that submission. If you didn't see in the previous video, I do highly recommend checking it out. The trade went pretty well. But those are my 3 pillars: eBay, Riftbound, Pokemon collection, flipping. Had to start with bulk, but yeah, won't be too bad. I wish Troll and Toad was still open. I don't know if they still are. I need to look into that. Because I had a lot of Pokemon bulk I was trying to get rid of. That I don't know. I might have to sift through now to see if there's anything with value, which I probably should. Yeah, I should probably do that. Because anything more than 15 cents, I might as well hold on to and just sell on eBay. I said eBay, but I meant TCG Player. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know what I have planned for 2026. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, and I will talk to you next time. Peace out.